Hello everyone. My name is Sierra and this is my bookshelf. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a beginner's guide to romance. Whether you read romance, often, or if you're looking for new subgenres in romance, here's my complete guide to spicy romance, contemporary romance, rom-coms, monster romance, and romantasy, anything like that. I'm gonna start you off with something a little more small. If you are YA, if you like YA romance, I personally don't like YA, so I DNF'd this book, but Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. It was cute. It was good. I'm just not a YA girly. I don't want to read about teenagers falling in love. I also like spicy romances, but this was really good for what it was. I just didn't finish it because I don't like YA. That's the disclaimer here. But this is a good, cute, low angst book for people who want a quick read. I believe it's like 313 pages. It's very quick. It goes by very quick. It has like a lot of spaces and whatnot. It's about two friends who, well, they used to be best friends. Their mothers are best friends. They grew up together, and then suddenly they just became enemies of each other. And so they go to high school together. They're academic rivals. They apply for the same scholarship program, and they get paired together during the competition. And they have to, first of all, survive together in the middle of the wilderness because it's a camp. And second of all, they have to figure out their whole drama that happened and why they stopped being friends. It was really cute. I'm not gonna lie. It was really cute. I probably should take another crack at it, but this is a very low angst, character-driven, plot-driven book, and I think you would really like it if you like cutesy little romances, especially if you like them with not quirky, but like weird main characters. Also, Talia Hibbert does a great job of including diversity, not just in race, but also with mental illnesses or physical disabilities. So this book was really good. I don't do YA, but I would highly recommend it for anyone who wants to start out, testing the waters of romance. Really, really cute. In that same vein, we've got the Brown Sisters trilogy, which is my favorite series by Talia Hibbert. This series is about three sisters, and it follows their personal development and their romantic development. The first book, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, is about a woman who has a chronic illness, and she has just been like doted on by her family, and she wants to break out and live her own life. So she makes a list of things to do called Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And it has things from riding on a motorcycle or, being able to live on her own in her own apartment, trying new things, going out for a night of drinking, to falling in love and having meaningless, spicy time. But she really just goes down this journey because she almost gets hit by a car, and it kind of wakes her up, and she's like, listen, what would they have put on my tombstone? What would they have said in my eulogy about me? I need to get myself together. And so she moves into her own apartment, and her apartment manager or superintendent or whatever, he kind of helps her with this list, and they fall in love at the same time. This is a really, really cute book. It's so cutesy. I love this book. I love this series. It's so good. Second book in the series, which I personally think that this book is about me, because it's about a bisexual Black witch, middle child, who has anxiety and depression, and her main topic of study is Black literature. Well, not just Black literature, but it is one of them. So this is about Danica Brown, and she prays to Oshun, the goddess of love, and she's like, listen, I need a new fuck buddy. Please send me somebody I can just till the cows come home, okay? And so Oshun is like, bet sister. And then we have Zephyr, who is the security guard at the university that Dani works at, and also has her PhD program. And they've been friends forever, but he's like the grumpy, big old security guy. He had a really unfortunate grieving process with his father and brother dying in a car accident, and this was at the time that he was a famous rugby player, so he just had like a mental breakdown, completely lost it, cut off all professional sports and everything, and just kind of went underground. And so he works at the university that Dani works at, and so they see each other from time to time. She's like, ooh, he's hot, but you know, he doesn't really talk. So one day there is a fire drill, and I don't think it was a real fire drill, but he notices Dani didn't make it out. So he goes back in and finds out that Dani got stuck in an elevator. And what does this man do? He completely opens the stuck elevator and gets her out. What a man. What a man. He gets her out. And so a lot of the students, they start filming it. They're like, oh, he did all this for fire drill. He must really be in love with her. And so they start posting about it online, and it's kind of like a Dr. Mrs. will they, won't they, fake dating type of thing. So this is my favorite book. This is my favorite book. Period. Nobody can talk shit about this book. Really good. I do recommend it. And the third book in the series is Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is about the youngest sister, and it centers Eve basically becoming inspired by her older sister Chloe to get her own fucking life, because she's tired of living at home. Her parents feel like she's not motivated, like she's not doing anything, and they keep trying to control her life. So she runs away, and she just takes off driving in a car, and she ends up at this cute little bed and breakfast where she meets Jacob. He is the inn's owner, okay? And he essentially hates people, but he loves the hospitality field. He is also autistic, so he deals with that every day on top of people not really understanding autism and what that means for him. So when Eve comes to the interview, she's kind of a disaster, and she hits him with her car on the way out. Yeah, she hits him with her car. He breaks his arm, or he breaks his wrist or something like that. And so she's like, hey, like, sorry, but since you're out of a cook, I can take the job and help you out around the inn. And until you're better. Like, I'm so sorry, and I still need somewhere to stay. So that happens. So good, so good. This book does a great job of talking about autism and just kind of looking at the different facets of autism in men, autism in women, and autism especially in Black women. And it also tackles bullying based off of Jacob's experience in town. But yes, it's super cute. It's a perfect summer read because it takes place in August. I feel like this series is something that I should be reading every year. So good. So good. Okay. Then we have Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. If you know nothing about me, know that I love Ali Hazelwood. Okay. And my favorite book by her is definitely Love on the Brain. But then I read this one. And it's about, what's her name? Elise. It's about Elise, and she is a people pleaser. So she has like these different modes for the people that she's around because she doesn't trust anybody. And she is applying to be a tenured professor at MIT, I believe, a physics professor. And she's just kind of trying to make her job seem relevant in the times of like academic, political debate and everything. And the main person who had debunked her whole research process is another professor at the school, and he basically wrote a whole article debunking the basis of her research and shitting all over her academic advisor. And he is on the committee to vote for who the new tenured professor will be. So what is his name? Jack. It is so good. It is so good. It is good. It's academic rivals to lovers, okay? It's academic politics. It's giving light academia. It's giving STEM girly. It's giving forced proximity, just a little teensy bit. Also, the cherry on top of this whole cake, Elise, yeah, her side gig, yeah, she works as a fake girlfriend. And she is Jack's brother's fake girlfriend. So, there you go. Good stuff right here. The last contemporary romance that I would recommend, and this is really hit or miss, like, you have to really just be looking for something to read. The Kissing Game. Am I going to rave about this book? No. Have I read it 3 times? Yes. I feel like it's a very good, middle of the road, very chill, low angst, okay, low angst romance book. It is about a woman, her name is Rena, and she is opening her own hair salon. And so she works at this bar as a bartender. Everyone at the bar fucking loves her, okay? They love her. They don't want to see her go, but they want to support her business. And this bar is kind of just like the pinnacle of the community. And she is just like the ray of sunshine at the bar. And so they throw her a farewell party the night before her beauty salon opens. And she gets pulled aside by Axel, a tall, big, hulking German man. Yeah. He is 6'6" 6'6". So he's huge, and he is known to be very quiet. He does not talk to anybody. He's a fighter, and he owns the local auto shop, auto garage. What is it called? Mechanic garage? I don't know why words are failing me right now. He owns that, and his whole crew loves going to Rena's bar, and I think her cousin works with him. So he goes to the bar all the time with his employees, and he's just kind of the tall, reserved, brooding type, doesn't talk. But he realizes that this is his last chance to get Rena to date him, because she's moving and there will be no reason for him to go see her at the hair salon, you know? So he pulls her into the storage room and he's like, I have a crush on you, and I have a little game. I'm gonna kiss you, and if you never want to kiss me again, or if you never want to see me again, that is fine. I just needed to shoot my shot. But if you can't stop thinking about that kiss, we should go on a date. And he kisses the daylights out of her. And he does. It's such a cute, stupid little book. It's so good. Yeah, it's a good book. It's not the best book I've ever read, but this is a very good beginner, middle of the road little book. Okay. It does, trigger warning, it does have moments of racism in it. Not on the love interest part, but there's a gang of white supremacists who terrorize Rena because she's a black woman, if you couldn't tell from the cover. So that is an issue, but it's not stressful personally for me, because I read dark romance. It's not stressful, but if that's something that you're wary about, definitely take that into consideration. Okay, so I only have a few romantasy that I actually enjoyed reading. But the first one is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I say roll. I am Southern. This book is a spin-off of Fangirl. So in Fangirl, one of the main characters writes a fan fiction of a popular book that centers around wizards, magicians, and magic. And she writes a fan fiction that gets really popular on a very popular fan fiction website that does not have any connection to Wattpad. So that's her love story, but then everybody was like, Rainbow, write Carry On. So she wrote Carry On. And it is a 3-part series. I have part 2 as well, but I haven't read it yet. So yeah, so this is about a magical school in England, or is it the US? I believe it is in England. Yes, but I think Simon is American. I don't know how it works. Anyway, so Simon is essentially in his final year of school, and he goes back, but on his way there, he keeps running into all these monsters and people keep trying to murk him. So he's like, what the heck? He goes back to his room, and he's just like having all of these issues, and he's not really understanding why. And he is roommates with his worst enemy and half vampire mage, Baz. And they've been roommates since day one. So there's like this whole magical system of your roommate has to stay alive, and you stay alive, so like you can't kill your roommate or whatever, like you can't use magic against your roommate, whatever. So they're just kind of like tolerating each other. And this is, oh, I forgot that this had like a huge, so this is the school. Anyway, it's like a Harry Potter-esque fan fiction book, and it's a piece of queer romance about Simon and Baz falling in love, because canonically in this universe, the original author of the Simon Snow series is like, no, he's not gay. But a lot of the fan fictions are like, yeah, he's gay with Baz. So if you want to get into queer romance, or you just like kind of like the cutesy romantic-y vibes, this is a really good book. I read this book in 2 days when I was in high school. So good. Okay. And then also I would recommend reading this first, so you kind of have a basis, but you don't have to. But this is also a really cute book. Okay, the next romantasy is obviously Fourth Wing. I honestly don't even feel like I have to talk about it. But yeah. It is about a girl with a disability going to the famed Basgiath War College, and she is the daughter of a very powerful general, but she was expected to be just like a librarian, although, you know, her father was a librarian and didn't really do much for her. Anyway, so she was expected to just be a librarian, and that in her bid to get into the college, she was gonna die because of her disability. What's the name of her disability? They said it somewhere in the author's note. She has some condition where it affects her joints and her like pain system and something like that. I'm not sure what it's called, but I will leave it somewhere right here if I can find it. But yeah, she's like small, she's underestimated, and everybody thinks she's gonna die, but she makes it through. And yeah, she basically just has to stay alive, and by the time she gets to pick her own dragon, she has a falling out with the bad guy, the son of the rebel, Mr. Xaden Ryerson. And so Xaden is like suspicious of her, but he's like, you know, there's something going on there and I like it. But she's like, he hates me. I need to stay away from him. Anyway, she gets stuck with Xaden. And it's just is it great writing? No. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. Did it get me out of a reading slump? Yeah, absolutely it did. I don't have to, I'm not the type of person where if I'm reading a book, it has to be great literature. That's not me. If I'm enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. It can be bad writing. It can. It's fine. It'll, like, I enjoyed it. The audiobook actually was really, really good. And then I picked up the physical. So I still technically need to read Iron Flame, but my ex gifted that to me, so I don't really want to look at it. This book is actually on my TBR because I picked it up because it looked so pretty, but I didn't realize that it was very popular. And yeah, so I will let you know if this is good, but this is also romantasy. If you'd like that recommendation, let me read the back if you seem interested. A dark prince battling an impossible curse. The Prince of Envy has never claimed to be a saint, but when a cryptic note arrives signaling the beginning of a deadly game, he knows it will take more than a hint of a sin to win and save his falling demon court, though none of his meticulous plans prepare him for her. The frustrating artist who ignites his sin like no other. A mysterious artist with secrets of her own. The trouble with scoundrels is that they haven't a modicum of honor, a fact Miss Camilla Antonius learns after one of the Waverly Green's most notorious rakes attempts to blackmail her. To avoid a ruinous scandal, Camilla must enter a devil's bargain with Envy, unaware his game will awaken her true nature. One chance to be set free. Together, Envy and Camilla embark on a perilous journey through the underworld from glittering demon courts to the sultry vampire realm and beyond, while trying to avoid the most dangerous trap of all, falling in love. So, I want to read that one, but yeah, it looks really good. It looks really cute. Okay. Okay. We have Outlander. I know I DNF'd the second book, but this one was really good, okay? The first one was really good. It is really long though. So if you don't feel like reading a very, 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 very long book, I don't know that I would recommend it. If you want to do the audiobook was really good, and I read it in tandem with the physical. So I would recommend it. It is about a woman who in 1945, she goes on a honeymoon with her husband post-war, and she finds herself going to I don't know if it's considered a witch circle, but there's sacred stones in the middle of Inverness where it is said that women disappear, fall through time when they touch the stones. And that's exactly what happens to Claire. She touches the stones and she goes back 200 years to I don't remember what the name of the battle is. She falls back in time to the Jacobean era of Scotland, and they're war-torn with England. So she's having the perils of being an English woman in the middle of war-torn Scotland, while also trying to get back to her own time, because she's like, why am I in 1743, you know? So it's a really cute story. It is a little dark. There are themes of sexual assault, brutal assault, beating a woman, hitting women. There are themes of murder and mayhem, but it's good. If you don't mind things on the darker side, it's good. And it's also a little historical. I don't know that everything is historically accurate, so I'm not going to say that, but it leans more historical. Now, for the moment everyone has been waiting for, I'm gonna do spicy romance and monster romance separate, but this is the spicier category of things. So if you are not 18 plus, goodbye, click off this video, go. Don't tell your mother that I had you on this stuff, because I'm not condoning it. You know who you are. This is for 18 plus. Go. Okay. Now that the adults are here. First and foremost, this is a good series. I don't care what anybody says. Again, I'm not the type to read a book just because it's good writing, but this is good writing, okay? As an editor, this is good writing. This is called the Knock 'Em Out series. They are thick. What can I say? They are thick. They're good though. This whole series got me out of a reading slump. So we've got the first one, Things We Never Got Over. It is about a woman who is summoned by her twin sister. So Naomi is summoned by Tina, and Tina's like, hey, like, I need you to meet with me, like I'm in trouble and I need some money. And so her sister basically cons her, and Naomi falls for it because she's the sweet sister. However, Naomi's running from her own problems. She is running from a life that she didn't want and from a fiance that she doesn't love. So she kind of takes Tina's call for help as an opportunity to get the hell out of Dodge. However, Tina takes advantage of her like she always does and steals her money, her car, and most of her clothes. And surprisingly leaves Naomi with a niece she didn't even know was born. Yeah, so she leaves her in this strange town called Knock 'Em Out, Virginia. I believe it's Virginia. Yes. And she's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I don't have any money. I don't have any way to like take care of this child. And the male main character, his name is Knox. He is one of the main business owners in the town that keeps the economy running. He is trying to shake down Tina because Tina, I think, stole from him or something. And he's like, wait, you're not Tina. What's going on? And so Naomi's like, this is what happened. She scammed me and she left me this kid and I don't know what's going on. And so Knox, being the unbelievably good guy he is, even though he says he's not, he's like, God damn it, I gotta help her. So he helps her, and he's just like this grumpy puss. Like, he is a big old grump. He doesn't know what's going on, okay? He doesn't like it, but he doesn't know why he has feelings for this woman. And I just couldn't stop reading it. It was so good. It was just so good. It was just like, ooh, flip the page, flip the page. So if you don't mind reading a longer piece of work, I would recommend this series. And then the second book is my favorite so far. I still have to read the third one, but the second book is called The Things We Hide from the Light. This is about the better brother, okay? His name is Nash. Yes, we have Knox and Nash, okay? You can't say shit to me about Knox or Nash, okay? Well, maybe you can say shit about Knox, not about Nash, okay? Nash, he is the sheriff in town, okay? He is trying to figure out what the hell is going on with Tina, the twin, and trying to get down to the dirty business of the town. He, while he's investigating what's going on with Tina and why she ran away, because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I'm trying to be as vague as possible. He gets attacked, and he doesn't remember the night of his attack, but he almost dies. Luckily, he made it through surgery, and he's trying to figure out what happened in this book. So, on the flip side of that, there is a woman named Angelina, and she was Knox's friend from college, and she grew up to be like a bounty hunter, but for insurance, like high stakes insurance. So she looks for items that were stolen that were very, very valuable, and she's in town secretly. She's telling everybody that she just needed a break from big city life, but she's really just looking for this piece that got stolen and has ties to Nash's shooting. So of course we can't just be boring and have these two people in the same book. No, they have to be living right next to each other. And he has to be absolutely obsessed with her, because why wouldn't he be? This was a cute book. This book actually made me cry at one point. This book was good. This book was really good. Okay. This is for people who kind of want to get a little bit deeper into the dark romance, but I would recommend this book. And then I personally have not read this book yet, but if you're going to read the other two, you might as well read this one. This one is about Knox and Nash's adoptive brother. So his family kind of took in Lucian, and he is now some really big millionaire guy who trades in secrets. So I'm going to read the back since I haven't read it, so I can't really tell you much, but I'll try not to. If I see a spoiler, I'll try to skip over it. There was only one woman who could set me free, but I would rather set myself on fire than ask Sloane Walton for anything. Lucian Rollins is a lean, mean, vengeance-seeking mogul. On a quest to erase his abusive father's mark on the family name, he spends every waking minute pulling strings and building his empire. The more money and power he gains, the safer he feels. Except when it comes to one feisty small-town librarian. Bonded by an old dark secret from the past and their current mutual disdain, Sloane Walton trusts Lucian about as far as she can throw his designer-suited body. When bickering accidentally turns into foreplay, the flames are fanned and it's impossible to put them back out again. But with Sloane more than ready to start a family and Lucien refusing to even consider the idea of marriage and kids, these enemies to lovers are stuck at an impasse. Until Lucien learns the hard way that leaving Sloane is impossible. The very least he can do is keep her safe. I believe the tropes in here are childhood friends, boy next door, girl next door, friends to enemies to lovers. I'm gonna be reading this soon. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I'm gonna be reading it soon. Okay, to continue with the spicy romance, we have Praise by Sarah Kate. This is the first book in the Salacious Players Club, and let me just tell you the tropes real quick, okay? We've got ex-boyfriend's dad. We've got older man, younger woman. We've got intro to BDSM. We've got dom sub play. What more can I say? This is about a girl who breaks up with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend owes her fucking money. He won't answer any of her calls. What does she do? She calls her dad. She calls his dad, sorry. She calls his dad because she knows that his dad is rich. She knows that his dad is rich. She just doesn't know why. Why is he rich? Because he owns a sex club. He owns a sex club. So she's like, hey, what the fuck? Her ex doesn't answer, so she decides to drive to the dad's residence. Well, no, the ex is like, just pick up the money from my dad, leave me the fuck alone, right? So she drives to the dad's residence and she knocks on his door, and he mistakes her for a sub. He mistakes her for a sub that he was supposed to have an appointment with. So he's like, why the fuck are you dressed like that? Ba-da-da-da-da. And he's like topping her, and she's like, why the fuck do I like this? And then she's like, hey, this was all nice and all, but like, I'm actually here for your son's rent money, so can I get that? And the dad is like, oh shit, of course. And she's like, actually, I'll take a little extra as hush money as well. Who doesn't love a little blackmail? And so then she goes on her merry way, and of course the dad finds her and he's like, hey, you were actually really good at that. You were actually really good at your job. Why don't you work for me in a non-sexual manner? And she's like, as long as it's not sexual, it should be fine. But then it kind of turns sexual. If you like a white juice, if you like a little polyamory, if you like dark romance, Katie Robert is the author you need to be reading. The Beast is part of their, I think it's called the Wicked Villains series. It is essentially, the Wicked Villains series. It is essentially Disney villains turned mafiosos. It's really good. So this one is about Belle, Isabel, Beast, and Gaston Gaeton. And Mafia Princess Isabel is a heartbreaker, okay? She strings along two guys, and she just basically is different people with them both. So when they find out about each other, they're like, hey, we're actually gonna break up with you. And she's like, what the fuck? She breaks up with them, or they break up with her, and then her dad dies. And so the gang starts to fail. Like, they're losing a lot of money, they're losing a lot of trust, they're losing a lot of territory. And so Isabel is like, I know that I have to go back and see them. I know that I do. I know. So she goes back to them and she's like, listen, you guys deserve an explanation, but if I give you this explanation, you have to come back. Like, we need you. And they're like, you don't get to decide that. You don't have the power here. Here's what we're gonna do. We own you for 2 weeks. You will be our sub for 2 weeks. And at the end of those 2 weeks, if we decide to stay with you, we can be in a relationship. Whoever, you have to pick one of us though. You have to either pick Beast or you have to pick Gaten. And you have 2 weeks to do it, but you also will be ours to share for 2 weeks. So there's that. It gets really spicy. I promise. I promise. Katie Robert will always deliver on spice. Don't even play with me, okay? Last but not least, we have Pucking Around. Again, it is a large book, okay? Don't hate me for that. Again, this book did get me out of a reading slump, so perhaps take a chance. This is about a lot of things happen in this book, actually. It is, I'll just read the blurb because it'll be easier, but yeah. My name is Rachel Price, and 2 months ago, I walked away from the perfect man. Sweet, funny, and so sexy. He should be illegal. We shared one magical night, no names, no strings. I never thought I'd see him again. I was wrong. As it turns out, Mr. Perfect is the Playboy grinder from the Jacksonville Rays and NHL's hottest new hockey team. And thanks to the 10-month fellowship I just landed, I'm his new physical therapist. Imagine my anticipation as those familiar muscled legs walk toward me, the way my pulse races as he reaches out to shake my hand. The jerk didn't even recognize me. This is going to be the longest 10 months of my life, because now Mr. Mistake is determined to use his every seductive trick to win me back. Meanwhile, I also have to contend with his best friend, the surly team equipment manager, and an exasperatingly stubborn, superstitious goalie who's convinced I'm his good luck charm. This is my chance to prove myself, and I'm not risking it for anything. But between one unexpected night and one secret revealed, these men are ready to test me to my limits. Still, I can't fall for a player, let alone 3. Can I? Pick it up. Go read it right now. Go read it. I don't care. I don't care. If you are looking for spice, this is the ghost pepper, okay? It's there. I learned some things. I learned some things. Go pick this up right now. I mean it. I mean it. On to monster romances. The last and final. Like, this is... yeah. First of all, I think a great intro pack is the Cambric Creek series. It has just about every monster you'd ever want. It has a minotaur. It has a werewolf. It has a void being. It has a witch. It has a Mothman. And there was a new book that just came out, but I don't remember what it was about. But it's on my Kindle Unlimited, so we're gonna find out soon. Go read that series. It's exactly what you think it is, yeah. There's no it's as transparent as it can be. There's no hiding from it. Next is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This has more plot. It definitely has more plot. It's a little on the spicy side, but it is more middle of the road. So it's probably more like a jalapeno type spicy. It's not as spicy as it could be, in my opinion, but it's pretty spicy. And it's about a vampire werewolf alliance marriage contract. And basically they're trying to figure out how to be together as vampire werewolf so that their people don't start a war, while Miss Misery, that's her name, Misery, she is looking for her best friend who disappears. It's very good. If you know anything about me, you already know. Ice Planet Barbarians. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I literally just finished the series. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. There's 19 books, by the way. So there's plenty of time to get adjusted to things. Essentially what happens is these girls, they get kidnapped from Earth by these aliens who are about to sell them into intergalactic trafficking to become sex slaves. And the craft, they have picked up 6 girls because they were paid to pick up 6 girls, but then they were like, we have extra room, why not pick up 6 other girls? So now they have 6 girls that were paid for and 6 girls who are just straight up other cargo cast. Like they just steal these girls out of nowhere. So then the ship starts having engine failure because it's working too hard because of all the girls that are on the ship. So what do? They drop off the cargo on an uninhabited planet and they go fix the ship. However, all these girls are like, what the fuck? We just got fucking kidnapped by all these fucking aliens. What's going on here? And then they realize, we're on an ice planet. What do we do now? Are we going to freeze to death? Are we gonna freeze to death? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen to us? And so the main character, Georgie, she's the first one. She's like, guys, I guess I'm your new leader. Like, I'm gonna go find help. I'm gonna go figure out something. Just stay here. I will be back. I will try to find something, even if it's just a way for us to get away. So she goes out and she almost gets eaten and she gets saved by a trap, a hunter's trap. And it is Vektal, the chief of the Sakhui people. It is his trap. And he's really excited to see her for the first time. So there's that. I will say there are some trigger warnings for the whole series. There are discussions of rape. There are discussions of sexual assault. There are discussions of abortion, unwilling abortion. There are discussions of mental illness and disabilities. There are discussions of forced relationships and what that means in terms of being on a planet where you can't choose your own mate. But I think it's a very interesting world, and honestly, I could live there all by myself. Like I could just listen and read all the books and that's it. Like, it was my favorite series of 2024. So I highly recommend it if you want to get a little into monster romance. I feel like this is a great beginner series. Now, if you're more like middle of the road novice monster romance, I think you can definitely advance with the Duskwalker's Bride series. Now, this book, I picked her up on a whim. I didn't know what she was about. Oh my goodness, this book was so good. This book was so good. Okay, this book was so good. It's about a post-apocalyptic Earth, and essentially the apocalypse was demons coming to our realm and disrupting daily human life. And it takes place in post-apocalyptic Australia. So the demons are kind of just running the world and the humans are just like trying to get through it. But there are also these other beings, and they are demons that can stay out in the daylight. They're called Duskwalkers. So essentially the premise of the first book is this Duskwalker is worshipped like a god, and so the town, in exchange for his protection, they sacrifice a human bride to him every 10 years in exchange for his protection against demons, because demons eat humans to become more powerful, I guess. This character, Rhea, she is essentially an outcast in her village, and her people are like, let's hope that the Duskwalker chooses her, because we fucking hate her, because she was the one who brought all these demons because of whatever reason. They thought that she was like a death bringer or something like that. So they sacrifice her unwillingly, and the Duskwalker is like, do you consent to this? And she's like, I mean, not really, but I don't want to stay here. And so they go into the Vale, which is the demon realm, and she's like trying to get the fuck away from him, but he just keeps protecting her. But he's like, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you, like, I want you to trust me. And so this book is it kind of just follows them building a relationship while also exploring this post-apocalyptic world. And the whole series, I need to finish book 3, but get this book. It's so good. I read this on Hoopla as an audiobook, and then I read the second one as an audiobook as well. The third one I picked up in store, but I think they are on Kindle, and let me check. I think they are on Kindle Unlimited. Yes, they are on Kindle Unlimited, which is good because the 8th book just came out and I really want to read it. So I need to finish the 3rd book and get to the other books. But it is so good. And Opal Rain, props to you. Such a good series. Yeah. Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a longer video, but these are just some of my recommendations, because I've heard that some people are just having a hard time figuring out what they like in romance and what they don't like, and getting into different parts of romance and what to do. And there's a bunch of different facets here, but this is a great guide. I think I might do a different video on historical romance, because it's not my favorite genre. It's not the biggest genre I've ever read, but I do have a couple of series that I really enjoyed. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!